Buddy, this is Jim with Harvest Harmonics, and I wanted to welcome you to another episode of Innovations in Agriculture. Today is February 4th, 2022, and I don't know about the rest of you, but I'm really just kind of sick of hearing about the pandemic and sick of hearing about all these things. I think let's all just go out and be healthy and just live our lives again. Just wanted to put that out there. I don't know if anybody might be listening. The other thing I'd like to say is, hey, we're actually looking for guests on this show. If you have an innovation in agriculture, if you have a product or a technology or a method or something that you feel would really help propel the world of agriculture forward, we definitely want to hear about it. We'd love to interview on the show. On a consistent basis, we get anywhere between 500 and 10,000 people watching each episode of this. So if you'd like that exposure, if you'd like to get your name out there, if you'd like to just let people know what you're doing, we would definitely love to work with you. And innovations in agriculture is all about that. Now, for those of you guys who don't know about us or the show, we at Harvest Harmonics have a mission, and that mission is to help farmers grow healthier, better quality fruits and vegetables without the use of chemicals, without petrochemicals, without GMOs, without a lot of this type of stuff. And we understand that, and a lot of agriculture, a lot of farmers are going to look at that and say, that's impossible or that's not realistic or whatever. But obviously, the technology that we've developed will make that possible and will definitely help farmers jump in and make a ton more money in the process of producing better quality food for everybody. But in today's episode, I just wanted to really just to address a couple of things that I've been hearing. Um, not about us necessarily, but just about farming. I think that I really wanted to address, I guess, the mindset that I've been hearing from farmers and from different people. There's a tremendous desire on the part of consumers, right? The people that are consuming fruits and vegetables and food, to see that food be healthier, be grown healthier, be transported in a more healthy way, and to do that in a sustainable way that's going to be better for the environment. I think when we really look at agriculture worldwide, we've looked at a model. Agriculture for millennia, for thousands of years, has been done in what we now consider an organic way, right? You may have livestock or whatever that accounts for your fertilizer, and otherwise you're just growing the food that you need. As we've embraced what we call modern agriculture, or what's now called conventional agriculture, we started to use a lot more intense fertilization and a lot more petrochemicals to handle pests like insects or funguses or diseases and these types of things. And this had positives and negatives, right? It had benefits. The benefits were, of course, we really increased our productivity. We really improved quality against insect pressures and against diseases and these types of things. But then it's also come with some drawbacks, and those drawbacks include damage to the soil health, long-term damage to the soil health, utilizing petrochemicals, which is causing certain chemicals to evaporate into the air or leach out into the groundwater, which affects and disturbs other wildlife. Um, Nitrous oxide, which is a byproduct of nitrogen-based fertilizers, when it leaches into the atmosphere, can cause 300 times more damage in terms of greenhouse gases than standard carbon dioxide. So while everybody's talking about carbon sequestration, nobody's really talking about nitrogen sequestration and removing that dangerous chemical or dangerous gas from our environment. You know, the Earth's atmosphere is 90%, or excuse me, 70% nitrogen. So, but it's N2 molecule. So when you combine it with other molecules as you do when you're making fertilizer, if the plants aren't utilizing that nitrogen, then that nitrogen goes into the environment and it causes significant damage. If you're one of the ecological type of people that really are looking to help improve ecological practices in farming and around the world, then really look toward how can we reduce nitrogen usage around the world, because that's a huge benefit. And of course, the Kiminase plant booster, our technology really helps that because we're making the plant more efficient. Our innovation in agriculture really came from a desire to make plants more efficient, because at the end of the day, we realize that plants can only absorb 20 to 30% of the nitrogen and certain other fertilizers out there that are being put into the soil. So as a farmer, if you're looking at ways to cut costs, The first thing you should figure out is how do I get my plants and my trees and my row crops and my grasses more efficient at utilizing the nutrients that I'm using instead of just continuing to just pour more and more and more nutrients into your soil, because at the end of the day, first of all, that's expensive. It's not efficient, and the price of fertilizer, guys, is going up. And as I write this, I think the last time I heard, it's 2 to 3 times more expensive than it was just a couple of years ago. And part of that's inflation, part of that's transport costs and various other factors. But fertilizer is not going to be a sustainable method economically either. Before, it was people were using a ton of fertilizer because it was cheap, 20 bucks here, 50 bucks an acre there. And when you compared it to something like our system, which might be hundreds of dollars per acre, but it will last 2 years. It didn't make sense on just an apples to apples comparison. Of course, when you look at what our technology can do in terms of increasing yield, and it gets 20, 30, 40% increases in yield, and you compare that to 3, 4, 5% increases in yield, now you start to understand where that differential in cost is coming in, and you start to realize that cheaper upfront cost, that cheaper input cost initially, is actually costing you a lot more money in the long run, in terms of less yield. The other thing we should mention is, nitrogen-based fertilizers. I'm not knocking fertilizers, and I'm not knocking farmers who are using fertilizers, right? It's sort of like something that you need to do, but I'm here to tell you that our technology is going to help you reduce that cost and continue to increase your yield as well. So let's stop and think for a second. If your farms, if your plants, whether it's trees, row crops, grasses, doesn't matter. If your plants are only absorbing 20 to 30% of the inputs that you're putting into the soil, what's happening to that other 70 or 80% of those inputs, especially nitrogen? Well, again, that nitrogen is a volatile nutrient. I mean, it doesn't stay in the soil or stay in the root zone when you put it there. It actually leaches out of the soil. In other words, it goes out of the soil, it leaches down into the soil. In some cases, if it sits on the top of the surface or whatever, heat and stuff will reactivate it, and then those chemicals, those nitrogen oxide or nitrates or ammonium, will evaporate up into the atmosphere, and they create greenhouse gases, as I mentioned earlier. So you're essentially spending your hard-earned money as a farmer to create greenhouse gases that doesn't benefit anybody, that creates global warming and all these other things. And again, I'm not here to blame you for what you're doing, because I know you're trying to grow your crops and you're trying to do the best you can for your family and for your operation. But I'm here to tell you, our system, the Kiminasi Plant Booster, is going to make those plants more efficient so you can cut back on that nitrogen usage. Now, if you can cut back 20, 30, 40, 50% of your fertilizer usage over time, that's going to reduce the amount of that chemical, those chemicals that are going into the atmosphere or going into the groundwater. And that's also going to help the plants, because they're going to get what they need and not create chemical imbalances. I've talked to several plant physiologists and different biologists, and I've asked them, well, what happens when a plant absorbs too much nitrogen and doesn't have enough other minerals, or it's not able to utilize those nutrients more efficiently? And they told me, they said, well, it'll burn the plants. And I think most farmers will agree that if you put too much nitrogen in the soil, it can actually burn the plants and create problems. So there's nitrogen deficiencies, and then there's putting too much on. When you have the combination of those two, when you get outside of your zone there, then it actually reduces your production. So you don't want to poison your plants. You don't want to poison the environment. You don't want to spend the money on the nitrogen anyway. Let's face it. So why not figure out a way to make those plants more efficient? Now, I'm going to just go into quickly why and how our system is able to do that. So you just understand that I'm not just kind of pontificating here or preaching to you guys. So let me just share my screen here. And sorry, mouse isn't working very well. There we go. But I want to just share my screen. Let me actually, that's my presentation here. There we go. So the basis of our technology is that every living thing has a metabolism, right? Humans, insects, fish, birds. It's not really controversial there. Plants' metabolism is really based on photosynthesis, right? But the photosynthesis operates according to a very set frequency pattern. In other words, the biological processes of a plant, when it absorbs nutrients, it absorbs water, right? It transports those nutrients up into the leaves, right? In the chloroplasts in the leaves, the different chemicals, including carbon dioxide and water and nitrogen and other minerals, are in the leaves, and the chloroplast allows the sunlight to drill down and essentially break apart those chemical bonds. So in water, H2O, for example, it can break apart hydrogen and oxygen, right? It can break apart the nitrogen compounds that's in the plant, and it can break down carbon dioxide. And when it does that, then the plant is able to rearrange the molecules in such a way that it creates a carbon-based glucose molecule or a sugar. And that's why when some farmers have asked us, well, why is it you take Brix test on plants? What is that? What significance does that have? Well, when we take a Brix test in plant, we're essentially measuring how much energy that plant has for cellular growth, for fruit and vegetable production or vegetative growth, because Brix in the plant will eventually become Brix in the fruit. And anyway, what we've discovered though with this technology is that it's one thing to measure the different biological processes of plants and map those frequencies out and say, wow, this is really interesting that healthy productive plants have a very specific frequency and unhealthy or stressed plants have a corrupted or altered frequency. And when we take the ideal frequency of healthy plants and introduce it to unhealthy plants, we're able to reinvigorate that plant and get it healthy again and get it productive again. And the other thing is our system operates on an irrigating farmer. So we can actually just program the frequencies in our system into small transmitters. And then we attach these transmitters to your irrigation system. And your irrigation water is then carrying these frequency waves to the plants. The plants are able to absorb the water that has these frequencies. And because of the physical law of harmonics, our system is essentially reinforcing the ideal natural metabolism of a plant. So, from a simple standpoint, our system is allowing the plants to grow stronger, healthier, and faster, and be more resilient to environmental factors like cold, cloudy weather, excess heat, insect pressures, disease pressures, fungal pressures, etc. Our system is making the plant so healthy that the plant has the ability to have its biological defense mechanisms at full potential, and it will produce more fruit because it has the ability to generate a lot more energy during the course of the season. Now, again, we can talk for in very technical manner about how our technology works, but the important part for a farmer is our system is allowing those plants to generate a lot more energy over the course of the season. And that energy is translated into fruits and vegetables. It's also translated into higher quality fruits and vegetables too. So it's not like we're just producing, 20, 30% more blueberries as an example, and those blueberries are sour and nasty and gross and just not very good quality. No, we're producing more blueberries, but the blueberries are sweeter, they're juicier, they have a better shelf life, they're larger, they're overall much better quality as well because the plants have so much energy they're able to create more fruits and vegetables, but those fruits and vegetables have higher quality and thicker cell walls as well. So I had a few questions here I just wanted to acknowledge here. So Mary Angel says innovative technology with excellent results. Great, thanks Mary Angel, appreciate it. Maria Belen says thanks for sharing. And Galen says, does the technology work on any type of water? The answer is yes, actually. We've tested this on numerous water types. And we get the question quite often as well. In my area, we have a very high iron content in the water, or in my area, we have a high sodium content in water. And what our system will do with the Kiminasi plant booster will do is help to mitigate those negative effects that those excess minerals will have. So the plant absorbs what it needs and it doesn't absorb what it doesn't need because the frequencies are harmonizing the plant to where it's absorbing what it needs and not what it doesn't. So again, you can find yourself using quite a bit less inputs than you otherwise would and still getting an amazing crop. Um, the other question we get quite often is the type of irrigation, right? So, does it work on flood irrigation? Does it work on drip? Does it work on overhead? Does it work on pivots? And the answer is yes to all those. We've tested this out on virtually every major type of irrigation, from garden hoses all the way up to major pivot systems. And our system has an equally beneficial effect. The type of irrigation doesn't matter. The only thing that would change it would be, um, you know, the uh, the frequency of irrigation. So if you're able to irrigate more frequently, you're going to see much better effect as opposed to if you're only irrigating once or twice. Um, Looks like we have a comment. What happened with me? I face a problem while using technology. Not sure what you mean there, but we have somebody here who's asking. He's got a problem. So if you have a problem using our technology, which again, this would be the first I've heard of it, please definitely message us. In fact, you can call us. Our phone number is here And right there, you can call us, and of course, our quality control. If you're having any issues, we'll get right on top of that. The other thing I should mention is if you also want to contact us and you don't have the ability to contact us directly, you can go to our website and fill out a request for quote form. Again, we will happy to give you a quote on a new system, or if you have a system already and you have questions about how it's working, or if there's any changes that need to be made, please address the questions via that, and we'll send it to our quality control team to jump on that right away. Of course, every farmer that uses this has been reporting amazing results, and if there's ever an instance where that is not occurring, we of course want to know about it so we can take care of it for you, make sure all of our farmers are winning. Next question is it affected by the water's quality? The answer to that question is yes and no. Okay, our system is not affected by the quality of water whatsoever. Our system will work in all kinds of different qualities. The only thing that we would say is if you have a very bad, poor quality water, it's going to be negatively affecting the plants anyway. Our system should help reduce those negative effects in the plants themselves so they produce more fruits and vegetables and they're better quality. However, it's not going to completely remove, let's say, poisons from the water or excess iron or excess sodium. It doesn't necessarily remove those minerals from the soil or from the water, but it will reduce those negative effects. So definitely let us know what kind of water you have, and I'd be happy to work with you. Um, and another thing I want to just mention too is, again, if you have different types of innovations in technology, we want to really work together with and partner with a lot of these other types of technologies. In fact, this week alone, we talked to a guy in New Zealand and South Africa, both of which have biological uh, methodologies to improve plant health. And our system is amazing and it works really well with biological inputs. So if you have microbes in the soil that you're adding to help farmers and to help sequestration and those things, our system will actually enhance the effectiveness of those technologies. So we don't want to compete with you guys. We want to help support you guys, and we want to work together because we can produce amazing results here. So another thing we should say is, if you're a petrochemical guy and you're and you're looking at this and saying, well, um, you know, excuse me, sorry, I had a thing in my throat. So, but if you're a petrochemical guy and you're saying, "Wow, this is the end of my business," oh my God, just keep in mind that there are a wide variety of solutions, and if you find yourself not able to sell petrochemicals anymore, then come talk to us. We'd love to have your expertise, and you can sell our product on our behalf and really help farmers. Because at the end of the day, it's all about helping farmers and helping mankind. And we just really wanted to, continue to benefit everybody we can. At the end of the day, we want to work with humanitarians of all types. In fact, we just had a meeting with a number of people here in the office yesterday, where we're going to be launching several different programs. This isn't necessarily only going to be Harvest Harmonics, but we're really partnering with a lot of humanitarian groups who are looking to really improve various areas and get people really motivated to helping each other. At the end of the day, I think we're at that crossroads in our society and in civilization as a whole, where we can continue to fight with each other and bicker over our ideas or politics or all these other different things, or we can start looking at how we can improve the conditions for everybody. How can we improve the quality of food for everybody? How can we improve the quality of water for everybody? How can we improve the society that we live in? How can we improve the physical structure of things? I mean, if we really just keep focused on helping each other and helping the world, I think that all of the efforts that we have will continue to benefit. But if we start sort of fighting amongst each other, then I think the bad guys win, so to speak, and nobody wants that. So if you guys have an innovative technology, please again reach out. Again, you can go to our website here, links here on the feed here, harvestharmonics.com. Fill out a request for quote form, even if you're not trying to get a quote. Give us your information and write some notes in the form there, and we will reach out to you. I would love to interview guys that are innovative for farmers and trying to help farmers in the same way we are to improve the quality and quantity of food and make sure everybody's winning. So if you guys have those types of technologies, please send us a note and let us know because we'd love to interview on our show. But that's really about all I got here today on today's show. We'll keep it short and sweet. I want to wish everybody a really happy weekend. And we look forward to seeing you guys soon. And we want to look forward to helping more and more farmers become part of the future of farming today. At the end of the day, we've already got hundreds of farmers using this and having really good results. And of course, we're going to be expanding that to many more hundreds of farmers and even thousands of farmers this year. And we'd love to for you to be part of it. So if you'd like to improve your farming operation and grow healthier, better quality food, make more money while doing it, and support a truly humanitarian cause, then let's get together and let's work together so we can help each other. Have a great day, guys, and we'll see you again soon.